Hi guys. I have realized that I have not posted a video in a long time, going on a year, and a lot has changed. Last time I was doing the pens because I didn't like the pump after my last one broke. But recently, actually a week ago, I decided to go back on the pump, and I'm now using the 530G series with the Inlight sensor from Medtronic, and I love it so far. So today is my second change, so I'm going to do a sight change and a sensor change and record it and upload it so that other people can watch it. So here we go. First, I'll show you everything that you will need to do a sight change and a sensor change. First, we have the quick set. I use the 6mm quick set from Medtronic. You'll need the quick set inserter. You'll need the reservoir and your bottle of insulin. Then you need your sensor, which is the Medtronic Inlight sensor. You'll need the Inlight inserter. You'll need the sensor charger. These are the Inlight over tapes. I'll show you how all this goes on. This is the tape that I use for the sight. Then I've got alcohol pads, IV prep pads, and a pair of scissors to cut a hole in this tape. So let's get started. So in the new menus, you go under sensor, click act, and then it says turn off sensor, which is the very last option. You click act, it says turn off sensor, yes or no, you click yes, and then it would be turned off. So then while that is doing that, I'll take off the old one. I wore this one in the front. Today's the 5th day. You can wear them for 6 days, but I have to change my sight today anyway, so I figured why not. Just take the over tape off, and then you pull this apart, and it kind of just, you'll hear it undo. So this is a transmitter. You'll take the transmitter and you'll plug it right into the charger, and you'll wait to see it blinking. It will continue to blink until it's done charging, and then the blinking will stop. They say it takes about 20 minutes to charge it. So I just let that sit. And then I'll take off the tape. Goes over the sensor, and it's really sticky because it's been on for 5 days. Just peel it off to the sensor, make sure it's off on the back, and you just pull it up. I hit a little blood vessel, so I've got some bruising and some bleeding, but that, if you can see, that is the sensor that stays in. And now you just fold it up and discard it and let that heal and wipe off the sticky stuff when you take a shower. And because the transmitter is charging, I'm going to do the sight change while I wait for that to charge before I insert a new sensor. So you go back to the pump, and on the main menu you click act, and then they've got on the new pumps, which they're a little different, but they're pretty much the same. It says reservoir and set, so you click act, and then you would click reservoir setup, disconnect tubing from body, and remove reservoir. So you would take the pump and you would take the reservoir out, and you would click act, and then the plunger goes down by itself, and you can kind of hear it working its magic. So then I'm just going to disconnect it from my sight. You just take it and turn it. So now this is trash. Well, this goes in the sharps because of the needle that's connected. And then I'll get ready to do the new one. So first you take the reservoir and you open it. And then you take the bottle of insulin. You just loosen the reservoir a little bit and make sure there's air going through it. And you take it to where you want it to be filled, which I go to about 2.5, which my reservoir is the largest one. Then you put the insulin on, push all the air in. I kind of just push it to make sure all the air went in. I draw it down to the second or third line and I push it all the way back up, just to make sure there's no air bubbles. And then a lot of times it will start to fill by itself just because of the pressure you put in the vial. So you just continue to pull it down until you get it to where you need it. And once it's there, check for air bubbles. Got a little one. A few little air bubbles are okay, but you don't want any real noticeable air bubbles. After I make sure that that's okay, I disconnect from this first and flip it upside down. That way there's no air that gets into your reservoir. Screw the bottom off. That's trash. Now this is what will be connected. Okay. So now the pump is saying, place and lock reservoir in pump and then press act. So, open the quick set. Save these little plastic pieces it gives you because they're really helpful when you go swimming or when you take a shower. So I just put those to the side, make sure they don't get thrown away. When you take the reservoir out, it will look like this. So then you just let that piece go. You undo the tape from the sides, and I make sure I just stretch it out, make sure it doesn't stick. So then I set the quick set into the inserter, which just lines up, and press it down to make sure it locks in. That way it doesn't move on you. Take the end, you lock it into the reservoir, like the pump instructed you to do so, because the pumps are now foolproof. It says rewind complete, press and lock reservoir, in pump, and press act. So, put it in, twist it to lock it in, press act. It says, are you disconnected? Yes. It says hold act to fill tubing. So you hold down act, it'll make this sound, and you're waiting for the insulin to start filling the tube, and you wait to see drops come out of the end. So just hold it and keep waiting. Now I have 23-inch tubing. It takes around 9 units to fill it. This time it took 9.2. And if the drop is still in there, there you go. You can see the drop of insulin, so I just shake it off in the plastic. And then it says, hold act, check for drops, escape if done. So we saw drops, so I press escape. Did you see drops at the end of tubing? Yes or no? Yes, we did. Connect, set to body, act to fill, escape to skip. So, now you take the white paper off, and now it's locked in there, so you don't have to worry about pulling it out. And then you take the needle cap off, which kind of just twist and pull. And then I always make sure that the needle is straight, just because, I don't know, I just like to make sure that it's gonna go in okay. And that's what's gonna be inserted. If you can see it, you can see the cannula wrapped around the needle, and then just shoots in, pull the needle out, it's okay. So you click the bottom down, so it's ready to go. And now I'm gonna do it on my other hip, because I did it in my right hip and I've done them in my stomach, so I'm just rotating. I don't like to do them in my arms just because the tubing seems to get in the way, and I haven't tried them in my legs yet, but that will be the next spot. So now, I'll stand up. Just take an alcohol wipe first. And turn around. Just wipe the area where it's gonna go. I let that dry. You're not supposed to blow on it, so I'll wave air on it just to make it go a little faster because I get a little impatient.